Get down. Oh, that's beautiful.
Shot bottom right corner.
Opposite corner, Gio sends it.
Get down. Oh, that's beautiful. What a save.
Welcome on in, folks. Hope that the world is treating you well, because it is time one more time for Rocket League action here on the channel. It is the Car Soccer Association taking the channel for the very first time. And welcome on in, Kalate. I see you out there. But it is a tremendous time for us here, ladies and gentlemen, because I am not only enjoying CSA action, not only enjoying the Car Soccer Association, which you will shortly, I will also be the home for the Philadelphia Phoenix all season long. And thank you so much for the bits, Kalate. I appreciate you, friend. And hopefully, just hopefully, I feel very confident I will have the action to represent, to give you a good reason to drop those bits a little bit later on. Again, we'll be getting to that momentarily, but tonight, it is a preseason matchup, 1-2 this evening, featuring the Philadelphia Phoenix. #1 overall draft pick, Gyro, Pig Beast, and Fade, representing the Phoenix, taking on the Baltimore Boxers, Taco Stash, Patty, and Jonathan. Now, the Phoenix in the Northeast division of the world-class tier, along with Toronto, New York, and Baltimore. We will see New York later on this evening at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. A nice little bookend for your evening, I should say. And in the world-class tier, it is a $600 prize pool for the winner, so a cool $200 to each and every one of them. But kind of going over the players that we are going to be seeing in this matchup. Again, #1 overall in the draft was Gyro, in a draft that went over, I think, I want to say about 4.5 hours, from world tier all the way down to the last pick in Academy. Of course, former Dignitas and deleted gaming member, most recently playing alongside Hockey and Creams in the most recent last chance qualifier, the only last chance qualifier, I should say, advancing on to day #4. Pig Beast, look, the 16th pick in round #2. Suffice it to say, there's a lot of excitement surrounding that name. And Fade, the final pick of the world-class draft in round #3. Teammates with Skippy out there in CRL, and faced SSA Champions Road 1v1 winner Revizi in the grand finals of the first 100x $35 $50 1v1 showdown. Out there for the Baltimore Boxers, we've got Patty as the #13 overall pick. University of Akron Blue representation, and not the only individual out there representing the Zips this evening. A top 32 ranking in the most recent Champions Road 2v2. Again, all over the place with regards to Frost Esports tournaments, and now the double commit tournaments as well. And we will get to a teammate there momentarily on a different, well, I guess an individual that is very familiar in the Zips locker room, we shall say. But Taco Stash, the 4th pick in the second round. The captain, interestingly enough, the second round individual, the captain for this one, representing Shawnee State University and Norm's member in a number of CRL events has he been a part of. And of course, Jonathan, the 4th pick in the 3rd round, representing University of Akron here yet again, the gold team. And again, number of Frost Esports tournaments, started participating in the new double commit tournaments as well. So we've seen Patty out there, we've seen Jonathan, and there is an Akron organization, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in CSA. And I'm gonna say I'm kind of surprised that we did not get the opportunity for that. I feel like it's a narrative that we lost out on, honestly. But Calzo, it is great to see you as well. Top of the hour is when we are expecting our action to get underway. And again, we have in the CSA, for each individual division, each individual tier, many of them from many different ranks. We have Premier, Superstar, Professional, Novice, and Academy. Of course, Philadelphia grabbing teams in each and every one of those tiers. Again, we should be getting underway here before too long, ladies and gentlemen, but just kind of running down the teams that Philadelphia did bring in. Out there for the Premier grouping, Perry, Leonis, Rome, and Wolf. Superstar, Slacks, Tricky, Jay, and Eholt. For Professional, Kyler, Zeckers, Ale, Steve Once, and Mirrored for Novice, 1 Zava, Shaded, Sauce Boss, and Napier. And finally, for Academy, Short, Aidenator, Quaza, Eric the Hispanic, and Izzy. Now, the interesting thing here in the preseason for the fine folks out there for World Class, it's kind of an opportunity for you to go out there, get used to your teammates, a little bit more of a scrim mindset. But for everybody else out there, they are going to have to drop one of those members. You heard me read off 4 names, and you can see at the bottom of your screen as well the names that I read off momentarily ago. One of those names is gonna have to go. Cuts to be made, and yes, there are free agents, there's waivers, everything in this organization. And if you would like to learn even more about CSA, give them a follow out there on Twitter, CSA_RL, and then of course exclamation CSA out there in chat will give you an opportunity to jump on in their Discord. So a number of players out there, just as you saw in that gorgeous intro, which I assure you I had absolutely nothing to do with making. That thing is absolutely beautiful. Just so much in terms of different skill range and opportunities for so many players to be able to go out there to crash and claw towards a grand total of $1,000 in a prize pool, winning, of course, like I said, World Class, going to be grabbing a total of $200 each and every one of them. So again, looking to get underway here before too long, ladies and gentlemen. Just needing to hook up with the team here momentarily. We actually had this as a reschedule. We're anticipating a later start, I should say. When we were talking about that 9:15 Eastern moment, that is honestly when we were expecting to kick this game off, but reschedules have to happen. Of course, preseason, your opportunity to kind of get things sorted, to kind of figure out who's going to be where, obviously, but our opportunity to enjoy the action that we will have this evening. Philadelphia taking on Baltimore, and of course, let me know, who do you think is going to get the dub? Will it be the Phoenix, or will it be the Boxers? Again, running down those teams real quick out there for the Phoenix. So you will see here a great deal. Number 1 overall pick, Gyro, Pigbeast, and Fade. And then Patty, Taco Stash, and Jonathan on the opposite side of the pitch. So again, we'll be getting underway here before too long. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know who you think is going to be getting that dub. Will it be the Phoenix? Will it be the Boxers? And again, this one, the competitive spirit from players like this, I don't think you look at it just necessarily as, oh, it's a scrim, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. It's not necessarily like the NFL preseason or anything like that. Sure, you want to go out there, you want to get familiar, but again, unlike the NFL preseason and unlike the rest of the tiers here, nobody's getting cut. You're just going out there, you're getting familiar. You can afford to have a little bit of fun. And both of these, ladies and gentlemen, we will have one now, one a little bit later on. Again, 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Best of 5. So not necessarily a quick run by any stretch of the imagination, but excited to see what these teams have for us out there this evening. Later on, by the way, we will be seeing the New York City Vanguard. That the later match that we have this evening, and that a tremendous trio as well. We will have a look at them when the time comes, a little bit later on in our evening. Again, excited to see how the familiarity between Patty and Jonathan, how that comes into play. Of course, Taco Stash, a tremendous player in his own right. So a tremendous roster that was drafted. I'm kind of curious as to not necessarily why, but just how possibly Patty and Jonathan both in their position just great get, especially Jonathan the latter round as well. So welcome on in. Simply great to see you, friend of the CSA Action Car Soccer Association action we will be enjoying here before too long. But let me know who you think is going to be able to get the dub. Will it be the Phoenix? Will it be the Baltimore Boxers? Again, ladies and gentlemen, I will be here all season long with Philadelphia Phoenix action. Each and every week, we will enjoy 2 games. And again, the world class tier, some of the absolute best that you are going to see in this entire, not just the tier, but the entirety of the CSA in and of itself. It's great names out there. Of course, we see the likes of, gosh, we saw Cosmic, we saw Percy, just so many tremendous players. And Percy, by the way, an individual at the top of the draft chart, just right next, at least in terms of salary, to Gyro, but having a conversation with GMJ. He said, hey, I had the talks. I like the vibe, everything that we could possibly want in a captain. But again, the curious thing here as well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Simply, for the bits. I appreciate you, sir. The curious thing here, again, for me, is Patty and Jonathan, how they are going to vibe out there alongside Taco Stash. Taco Stash, the 2nd round pick, 4th overall, actually getting the C on his chest. Meanwhile, of course, you look to the number 1 overall pick in Gyro, looking to hold the banner of the Phoenix high to get those dubs. But again, it may be preseason, but we are out here to have a good time, of course. And again, each and every one of these individuals out here to kind of see what the vibe is. And I'm looking forward to it. We will be getting it away here before too long, ladies and gentlemen. Loading into the lobby, I do believe. Indeed, we are. So, folks, it is about that time. We have had a marvelous evening thus far. My opportunity to be able to talk to you, fine folks, and get ready for the action that we are going to be having here momentarily. Again, best of 5 this evening. Just waiting for everybody to jump out there. Again, the 2 representatives from Akron, Patty and Jonathan. Taco already out there. Yeah, we do have Gyro as well, just waiting for the arrival of Pig and Fade to get this. And of course, like I said, we will be back here at 9:15 p.m. Eastern for another matchup. Phoenix taking on the New York City Vanguard. So only one team in our grouping, in our division, that we won't see this evening, and that is Toronto. No doubt catching up with them a little bit later on in the schedule. Of course, I mean, why wouldn't you? They're in your division. Excuse me. So again, best of 5 this evening. Just waiting for the arrival of Pig Beast and Fade to get this one underway. Again, keep in mind that at the end of the rainbow for the winner of the world class tier, it is $600, $200 per player. So yes, there is a fair bit on the line, but again, the opportunity for these players to kind of stretch their legs a little bit to see what they can dial up. No doubt that they have been playing alongside each other in some scrims as well. So we will see a little bit of the playbook, just like the NFL, just like anything else when it comes to sports. I don't anticipate we'll go too far deep, but again, am excited to see what these teams have in store for us. So let these fine folks know it is about that time. Go ahead and join on up, folks, and we will get underway here before too long. And indeed, it is a best of 5 here this evening. There we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So enough of my yammering, enough of my stammering. It is time for Rocket League action here this evening. It is time for CSA action. The Baltimore Boxers taking on the Philadelphia Phoenix. So demo straight out the gate, courtesy of Big B, and my goodness, I don't care if you're on the ground, I don't care if you're in the air. The Phoenix have violence in store for you. I guess that is appropriate, you know, coming up from the ashes. Appropriately enough that we are going to see fire and the flames from the Phoenix all evening long, and no doubt all season long. But it is the Boxers who will draw first blood. Patty, marvelous setup. The Zips of Diamond Up, the captain, 1-0. Favor of the Boxers here. 4:37 left to go in our game number 1. Again, best of 5. So at the very least, we will enjoy 3 games from these 2 tremendous trios. As now Gyro looking for possession, able to sneak that up and over Jonathan. However, Jonathan picks his pocket, but popped out of the way, courtesy of Gyro. And hey, if you know me at all, you know that I love the bully ball. I love the tenacity, and maybe something that the Phoenix will provide for us all season long, all evening long. As now Taco Stash not going to be able to send that away. Popped away now by Fade. Maybe looking for a bumpage, but instead Patty. Soft touch. Go forward advancement one more time. Meets the ground. Courtesy of Sweet Lady Physics. Not going to be able to sneak it past on a Taco Stash. Looking for one more, and will indeed find himself on the cusp of the hat trick. All of a minute into this one, and Pigbeak's not able to get the flickery to send that one away. Fade and Gyro back there on the fence, but the Boxers on the board here yet again with a minute gone here in our game number 1. And of course, you do still have a little bit less than 2 minutes. Let me know who you think is going to get the dub. Will it be the Boxers, or will it be the Phoenix? And in the early going, I have no doubt there's individuals out there thinking, well, I think it's rather obvious Kasur who is going to be able to get the win out there. But again, plenty of time, and deletion along the goal line, courtesy of Pigby. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, I think I appreciate this team, but ultimately, I know the Boxers appreciate the fact that tip him if you got him. It is the hat trick for Taco Stash. So at the end of the day, by all means, we will more than happily give up the demo, say the Boxer. At the end of the day, we will happily take the hat trick. I'd say team hat trick, but right now, again, it is Taco Stash versus the Phoenix. 3:41, still tons of time, of course, because, hey, if 3 goals can be scored in such a short period of time by one team, better believe it can happen for the opposition as well, or should I say for the home crowd. And of course, if you would like to root the boys on, we do have some inexpensive redemptions as an FYI. But Taco Stash, again, just leading the charge. You see why. He was given that captaincy, and indeed, Jonathan, from one end of the pitch to the other, and still the Phoenix continued to collect demos, but you have the 2 Zips, and there is that chemistry. 3:19 in this one, and like a runaway, at least in the early going, or at least tension. the drama. I am here for the content, as y'all well know. But right now, everything, it is coming up boxers. So now Jonathan, nudge your way back down. Gyro, to pop this one high. Got to be able to. Coming across mid, and Patty takes highs. Jonathan takes low, and again, the zips. Hand limited for the most part, but cracking the goose egg is Pigby. It is the first ever Phoenix goal on this channel, and it is courtesy of Pigby. 3:02 left to go, and again, 5 total here, and we're not even 2 minutes into our game number 1 of this preseason matchup. In the first of 2 this evening, 9:15 Eastern, we will enjoy another one. That one versus the New York City Vanguard, and that one gets past Fade. Patty going to be able to get the follow, and hey, there was a moment in time, ladies and gentlemen, where that 3-goal deficit looking mighty fine, but ultimately we are back to 4, and I know that we may be talking about Baltimore, we may be talking about Philadelphia, but I might suggest checking your passports out. Rocket League is going fantastic. Taking you to CSA Action Car Soccer Association, the preseason, and it is Fade with a gorgeous carry off the kickoff as well. Popped it high. Jonathan, despite all the boost in the world, it is the bumpery, and this is a team, ladies and gentlemen, that you better believe that I can get behind. Indeed, it is a high-scoring affair. We will not be headed to South America, but that trip to España is still on the table. But also plenty of time for the home team, for the Philadelphia Phoenix, be able to take us quite possibly into an overtime stanza. But right now, the Akron representation, they have been ferocious. Marvelous save there by the #1 overall pick in Gyro. And I'd like to be on that field. Oh, of course you would. It's a marvelous time in CSA. Again, CSA providing a number of different tiers, so regardless of your rank, there are opportunities aplenty and a little bit of demoage on the other side. But I think right now we're still talking about a 10-to-1 ratio in favor of the Phoenix. I don't have that officially, but I still feel rather confident in a higher number. And Taco Stash able to deny there, but it is the follow. It is the tee-up for Pigby. And now Pigby found himself in a similar situation to Taco Stash, eyeballing the hat trick. That's right, it's Car Soccer Association Season 2. And if you'd like to learn more, check out the Discord, !CSA. We have 2 minutes left to go in this one, and the Phoenix have narrowed things down momentarily. Patty are going to be able to get the send away. As Faye looking for a collection, going to be able to grab that, has possession up and over. Patty going to chase after, and the bump. As now the Phoenix looking to sneak one by, but really testament to what the Akron representations have been able to do here. Again, instant chemistry, walking through the door. I think that's part of the reason. I mean, you have Jonathan down there after picking up Patty. Why would you not? And again, Jonathan, a tremendous CRL player, has represented the Zips so very well over many, many months. A great get for any team. As now Fate, not going to have a setup out there at second. Instead, Gyro hanging back there. The send away, Jonathan going to be able to deny. And I will say, Jonathan as well, an absolutely absurdly good defender. He finds himself on the back line, taking swat after swat, shot after shot. Eventually, I mean, this is a human being. He will, in fact, blink. It's Jonathan, the aforementioned, grabbing save and savior. Now Gyro, the pop going to be met on the low send high, courtesy of Taco Stash. We have less than a minute left to go here, and is a 2-goal situation, precarious situation for the Phoenix if they want to bring this one even, and that is where their focus remains for the time being. Gyro with the flick away and the 100. Getting that one back down towards Terra Firma. Patty kicking this one high, and Patty now with the send. Looking to collect is Pigby's going to be able to challenge up the 50. That one, then back down, back and forth. This does go, and that lead that was snagged by the Boxers there early on, they are more than happy to sit on it for the time being. Take our game number 1, and again, best of 5 all evening long, set up right in front of net. However, that one not going to find back of net. Jonathan, that one is not going to be true. And Taco Stash, it is the puppery over into the corner. Not going to be able to grab that one. Instead, a last gasp effort quite possibly for the Phoenix, up and under courtesy of Gyro. Taco Stash will deny save and savior for himself as well. So it does appear that the Boxers, courtesy of that team hat trick early on, going to be able to grab it, and it is the 0-second goal. The savior for Jonathan. 3 shots, 2 goals as well, and ending this one with emphasis, and the glomp as well on the teammates. So indeed, able to grab that dub was this Baltimore crew. So ultimately able to step up and step on there in the early going. Great to see you, by the way, Rocket Pro, for some CSA action. And out there, again, just great defensive work there for the Baltimore Boxers. You've got just about every player with a savior, but also, of course, the hat trick by Taco Session. Everybody getting involved on offense there as well. So just great team play across the board. So the shots were there ultimately for the boys, for the Phoenix, just not finding connection. And again, Taco Stash absolutely popping off there in the early going. And it was that surge that afforded them the opportunity to walk away with the dub for Baltimore. But we head on over into our game number 2. And y'all know me at this point. You know my desire to see from game 1 to game 2 which team is going to be able to walk away with even better mental, even better chemistry. Might the Phoenix be able to recover? We're looking to jump out here before too long. Want to make sure that everybody has an even situation. Taco Stash now taking to the pitch. So again, Baltimore able to grab game number 1 in tremendous fashion. For a great deal of goals. 6 in total. A 9 total goal game was our opening contest. Will now defense be the name of the game? It was certainly the name of the game for the Boxers as they begin to swing away to put the Phoenix on the canvas, looking to keep them there. I start playing a 6-man scrimmage. Yeah, absolutely, my guy. Do what you must. Against CSA action, arriving to the channel, it is the double A, but Jonathan will be able to deny. And again, it is that defensive powerhouse, the steel curtain, as Pig Beast. Touching this one over towards the corner as now the Phoenix looking to find a way to start things off hot, as Taco Stash did in our game number 1. It is the leap fade, drop back down to Taco Stash, the aforementioned. Deals this one away, popped away now by Patty and the Zips. To find the connection that was also kind to them in game number 1, but challenged off the low courtesy of Taco Stash. It is the Sen and Patty. Yet another denial, and I believe appropriately, hey, if you are an NFL fan, you know that the Baltimore Ravens, their defense truly on point, and the Boxers continuing to do the idea of tremendous defense justice for the city of Baltimore. Catch and carry by Pig Beast, will deny there, and not able to follow is Taco Stash, but pop tie. And again, you want to talk about a victory in and of itself. How about the fact that we see nothing on the board right now for the Baltimore Boxers, something that we could not say in a hurry thanks to Taco Stash in game number 1. But Fade taking this one sky high. Patty and Jonathan maybe looking for a dynamic duo play yet again. Able to keep them quiet for the meantime. Have the Phoenix, but up and over 1, and we have seen a lack of bumpery here. We saw a great deal of demos there in the early going, but again, we would rather have scores. They say, Pig Beast with the dominating double. 3:13 left to go. Taco Stash not able to send it. Instead, Jonathan goes for it, not able to grab it, and the Zips not holding the line on that one. Welcome on in, Avocado. Great to see you, friend. Thank you so much for the streak. I appreciate it. It's CSA action, Car Soccer Association. This is the first game of our evening. We'll be back a little bit later on, but more information about that later on. Indeed, and Fade. No shade on Fade. It is not possible to do such a thing. Sends it sky high off the nose, and the follow rushed on over into the corner were the Boxers, and the Phoenix, they begin to rise. 3:07 left to go in our game number 2, and the thought process about whether or not mental would be able to shift back. Indeed, I don't know if it was lethargy. I don't know if the snooze button got hit, but Fade. The catch, the carry, ladies and gentlemen, and the elegance, the poise that Fade provides there. Nobody back on the line. So as great as the defense was for Baltimore in our game number 1, it has largely gone up in smoke, and we're just 2 minutes in. Dare I say, a little bit of trollage there in the early going. That we got to give them hope. We got to give them faith. We got to help them believe, at least momentarily. Gyro, up in this one sky high. Fade, eyeballing the hat trick. Not going to be able to nudge that past. Taco Stash steals that one away. As the Boxers able to get 3 on the board, courtesy of the aforementioned, courtesy of Taco Stash in game number 1, but have been kept scoreless as a team here in our game number 2. Really testament what the Phoenix have been able to do is that one challenge sky high, popped high off the 50. Patty looking to follow up Taco Stash, able to get the send away. Taco Stash v Gyro in the moment, and Gyro Gonna be able to get that pop back down. The catch, the carry sent away now by Jonathan. And Jonathan gonna be able to sneak that past Pigby now, holding the line. Save and Savior. Gonna be met off the low now as Fade again eyeballing. One more eyeballing. The hat trick that Taco Stash was able to secure. That out there, not gonna be able to advance on a shot on. Kick back there by Fade. And again, Fade, if you are not aware, a 1v1 aficionado. So yes, one of those. Taking on SSA 1v1 Champions Road winner Revizi in the grand finals of the very first 100x35 $50 showdown. Don't get to the grand finals. I beat a slouch by any stretch of the imagination. And Gyro looking for the redirect. Patty pop that back, looking to follow now is Fade, but will not be able to find the back of the net. Pressure, it does continue though, courtesy of the Phoenix. Jonathan, set up opportunity, popped away now. Fade may have set up, back down by Patty. But no, another opportunity for Baltimore. As to the wayside, the send, the clear, courtesy of Jonathan. As Taco Stash. Then high, minute remaining left to go in this one. 3-0 in favor of the Phoenix. And it is just constant denial time and time again by the folks from Philly. And we will have that action throughout the course of the season here on the channel. Going to be challenged. Set back down. Jonathan looking for a setup opportunity, but again, Patty. Back and forth this one does go. The Akron representation trying for the setup, but ultimately not going to be able to grab it. One demo, two demos, as they are here for ferocity, their own right. And thank you so much, Avi, for the follow. I appreciate you, friend. So under 30 seconds. Sent away now by Gyro. As Big Beast. The delay. Jonathan, however, going to steal that one away. Pop tie now by Fade. And Fade looking towards maybe the coat rack. Indeed, nudges that one back down. Not going to be able to grab the aforementioned hat trick. But my goodness, 7 shots, 2 goals. It is the half flip, and there it is. Tip him if you got him, ladies and gentlemen. It is the hat trick. We saw it for Taco Stash last time around. But now, courtesy of the Pig Beast Dime, we are talking about Fade. 4-0, and what a reversal of fortune, but all skill, I assure you. As it does appear that the Phoenix indeed will be grabbing a Game 2 dub. They're going to be challenging that one, will in fact touch terra firma. So, ladies and gentlemen, that what a recovery there by the Phoenix. In the early going, we weren't quite sure. I mean, was it scoring you wanted? Was it demos? They made their desires quite obvious there, and my goodness, Fade out there with 8 shots. This is a team that had 14 shots in total, and my goodness, Fade had more than half of them. But meanwhile, out there for the Boxers, again, just constantly stymied press out there on defense in situations time and time again they did not want to be in, and just able to cut down on the chemistry of the two Zips. I mean, that in and of itself is huge. Again, they may not be on the same team, but they are very familiar with one another. Same team in terms of blue and gold, but again, very familiar playing alongside each other, I should say. And ultimately, end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we enjoy a best of 5 here this evening, but this effectively becomes a best of 3. And again, here in the preseason, hey, it is for the world-class tier, largely about experience. So, shift on back in, and looks like Barl being a little cheeky, but we can certainly assist with that. Thank you, Rocket Pro, my producers out there in chat. So 1 to both sides. Again, grabbing that 6-3 dub in game number 1 were the Boxers, but able to stifle and then some for the Phoenix, courtesy of a 5-0 win. And again, when you have a team that is going out there and scoring 6, well, it began with this individual, Taco Stash, and the second round pick, ultimately able to slap the C on his chest. And W producers indeed. All the love in the world for producers. But 4:36 left to go in this one. The Boxers on the board here yet again, so maybe, just maybe, history being kind for Baltimore with regards to the even games, but of course still plenty of times for us to determine that one. Is Pigby popping this one away, going to be met there by Patty with the send, and as a rush up by the Zips, that opportunity popped away now by Gyro. Again, Gyro, #1 overall pick in CSA out there in the world-class grouping. Again, a draft that went 4.5 hours, I believe. And all the love out there, by the way, to Wi-Fi for holding down that fort. And Gyro, indeed, bumpery along the goal line, courtesy of Philadelphia. And not able to walk away with any sort of dub in that moment. But we are talking 1-all, 4:02 left to go here in our game number 3. So at the very least, this one goes for Taco Stash. Taking this one high, pops this one off the ceiling. And again, Baltimore not able to replicate the hat trick beginning of game number 1, but the offense appropriately, courtesy of Taco Stash. Batty not going to be able to get the follow-up on that one. Looking for the send away, but Gyro taken to the sky. I do believe looking for a swipe there. Word the Phoenix on the back end. Fade over. Not able to fall there as Jonathan, again, the defensive stalwart for Baltimore. The denial one more time. Over lays out now does Gyro. Hattie with a nudge, stealing that one away for the Phoenix. Taco Stash. Their follow as well, but popped away now, trying to drag on over into the corner. Are the Boxers, but Pigby at his patience of his zone just wants to kill it right now, and Taco Stash not going to be able to handle business there along the goal line, but what a bunch up at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if the atoms are from your cars or from the opposition. Ball does not phase through. And now Jonathan picks one over to the side. Taco Stash nudge up and over Pigby, and it is the SWAT, indeed, ferocity between both of these teams. We have seen it over the course of our evening. It has been a feisty series, if nothing else. Patty kicking this one sky high as we take over closer towards halftime here in our game number 3, and appropriately, it is a back and forth seesaw kind of mentality. Appropriately enough, the Boxers will throw a haymaker there in the early going, but it has been back and forth here in our game number 3. And looking for the bumpery, Jonathan able to deny, and Taco Stash. What a tremendous defensive stand by the Boxers. No stress, no ice, or beg pardon, all the ice in their veins. No ice, they're the ones supplying the ice, for crying out loud. How much do you sell ice for on the Rocket League pitch, ladies? What are we buying ice for? So Fate, picking this one off the back wall. Pigby able to get the send away. Patty lying in wait, cuts back. As now Pigby for another setup, but will deny again, will Patty. And ladies and gentlemen, we saw a score courtesy of Taco Stash, who is absolutely popping off in game number 1, but able to bring things even were the Phoenix. Now, it's all about who will blink first. Pigby not going to be able to sneak that one by, and I think ultimately you want to talk about the individual you want. Go for a close-up flick. I think you look back to Fate, individual who had that hat trick. In our game number 2, delay by Gyro, and it is the stall. The aerial work, the control by Gyro. Able to sneak that past the slow momentum of the Boxers. Denying them to stop there. Buck 25 left to go here in our game number 3. So Jonathan with a send away bumpage between two teammates, but hey, at the end of the day, is a bump by a teammate sent in the direction that you want to go? Is that not just boost that you didn't have to pick up? I am getting very philosophical out here. It does happen. Settle in. Now Gyro, kick up towards center. Back down to Gyro, just pulling off of this one, and again, they have been able to handle business. They have been able to settle in, have the Phoenix, and ultimately playing with Sal's money, would they be? But the same goes for the Boxers. The demolition will not result in an offensive score. Kicks back there, does fade. Just looking to loop back around on rotation is the Phoenix. Going to be met off the low again. Sneaking around in the corner are both teams. Patty not going to be able to grab the 100. Instead, it is the send. Fade, however, cuts back, grabbing the reset over in the corner, as 1v1 aficionados are familiar with the safest place for you if you opt to play in arguably one of the saltiest modes in the entirety of Rocket League. Jonathan! Up and under and staring down the barrel of a shotgun. Was the crew out there for the Phoenix, and Pigby lays out for it. Fine defensive effort, but effort nonetheless. 20 seconds left to go here in our game number 3. Might we be headed to a familiar place around these parts? You all know the 3 letters. Might I be able to say them? Taco Stash, the pause of his own, the send away, looking for a double, quite possibly sent back to Patty. And Patty Has the touch, the sent away now by Gyro. Jonathan sending this one sky high. As Fade looks to collect. Indeed able to. Met high by Taco Stash back down. FTC, folks, for the content here in our game number 3. And in terms of the series, so much on the line. Who is able to get the dub? Again, we'll be playing with house money. The individuals take the loss, having to grab a couple, be able to walk away with the series dub. And this, these 2 matches this evening, ladies and gentlemen, not gonna show on the season record, but still, at the end of the day, a dub is a dub, especially when you're playing alongside, I'd say, new teammates. But again, if you are part of the Baltimore Boxers, you are very familiar with 2/3. And the flick away there by Jonathan. Gyro trying to get the send on that. Popped away. 2v1 situation right now. Gyro to get the bump. Taco Stash with the denial. Looking for the follow, but no, Jonathan standing tall on the goal line yet again. And that is something, ladies and gentlemen, that you will hear all season long. Get used to it. Jonathan, brute force on the goal line. And the frustrations that he can provide many an offense, draining the mental. But in the here and the now, the Phoenix gonna handle business, quite possibly grab this game 3 dub here in OT. Again, game 1 going in favor of the opposition 6-3. Game 2 4-0 in favor of the Phoenix, but not gonna be able to follow his Gyro. And it is the send as Fade looking to collect and reset. He's gonna be able to the pop away now, back down to Pigby. Advancement by the Phoenix, and able to stall there momentarily was Taco Stash. And that one gonna sneak in courtesy of Fade. Bit of a floater, but ultimately Jonathan looking for the clear pop back to Fade, and Fade able to get a hat trick a little bit earlier on, and now it is the OT winning goal. Phoenix now on the cusp of the victory here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the Boxers, they are not going gently into that good night by any stretch of the imagination, but what a game there for our game number 3. And ultimately, the scoreboard relatively even what you would expect for a game 3 overtime. Roughly even score chart. At the end of the day, though, 10 in favor of the Phoenix and just a few under that for Baltimore. But again, at the end of the day, Taco Stash actually standing the strongest on the defensive goal line for this crew for Baltimore. 7 saves in total. Ultimately, at the end of the day, just cashing the biggest check when it mattered the most for the Phoenix. And again, ladies and gentlemen, enjoying the action, CSA Philadelphia Phoenix. We'll be back here at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, a little bit later on this evening. Hope to see you folks then. This one has been a treat. The very first that we have seen here. Fine folks at CSA. Want to give them some love. I want to give each and every one of you some love for being here, for enjoying the action tonight. As here we are, ladies and gentlemen, it is a situation where the Phoenix just needing 1 more game to be able to walk away with the dub. Meanwhile, for Baltimore, backs are up against the wall, needing to win a pair. And now the stronger hand appears to be stared at by the Philadelphia Phoenix. Now Pig Beast looking for the send away, and again, you can afford be a little bit looser with your game call, able to be a little bit more confident, maybe dip a little bit more into that free play mode. So Pig Beast and out, up and over. Patty looking to collect here, but pop away there. Ferocity by Taco Stash, and that is what you need if you are the Boxers. Absolutely swing away, because at the end of the day, that ferocity has been kind to you. And game number 1, able to win 6-3, but then being bested 4-0. Game number 2 by the Phoenix, and ultimately you just saw the Phoenix driving that game 3 overtime dub 3-2, and that in and of itself battle testing the Phoenix. Now Fade counters off the low, pop away feed, our big part in Fade, looking for the carry out, up and over. Jonathan helping to deny. What a save courtesy of Taco Stash. A little bit of love from Mr. Crossbar. As Jonathan dashes a plenty along the wall, sent back down courtesy of Patty and the Akron boys. Looking to carry Baltimore to the promised land this evening. However, challenge off the low there by Taco Stash. Taco Stash picks his pocket, and now Gyro sending this one away. Opts to pull off momentarily is Fade. And Fade, by the way, having himself an evening. The team as a whole finding a solid chemistry and synergy. But I just got to say, Fade, I mean, has really stepped up. Not to say that we expected something less of him. Just really putting on a show. So Gyro And along the wall, going to be met by Jonathan. Pinch back towards Terra Firma. Out there at mid, popped away, back on over towards Patty. Patty throwing things with the undercarriage, up and over towards the aforementioned, courtesy of Pigby. But will be denied here yet again, as now Faye challenged off the low there by Taco Stash. And again, it is a pressure towards the Boxers' side of the pitch. And eventually, like I say, the steel curtain will crack, and it is courtesy of the #1 overall pick. 1-0 in favor of the Phoenix 249, standing between them. Quite possibly a 3-1 dub, but again, Baltimore not going to go away quietly. Doesn't matter if it is preseason, doesn't matter if it is last week of the regular season, doesn't matter if it's the grand finals. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay, now it is Fate. Gave him all the love, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happened. They say cast or curse. I don't know, caster love, caster appreciation. Caster confidence? There we go. That's what we were looking for. So 2-0 in favor of the Phoenix. And again, right now, I mean, it was all Baltimore in game #1. Again, winning 6-3, but ever since, the Phoenix, they have woke up and then some. There is the musty, and indeed it's a slow bounce, but still converts. And indeed, Pigby, looking a little fanciful himself. Jonathan lays out, and actually an assist from the Akron representation, whether he wanted it or not. And 3-0. And again, we saw game #2 go in the way of Philadelphia, 4-0, but we are sitting at 3, just under half. Up and over Taco Stash, Jonathan lying in wait. Sending this one sky high, and again, for the Boxers, it is all about moment by moment here, trying to find micro victories and some way for a quick press up, but they have been slow, they have been stymied ever since that game #1 for the most part. Keep in mind, I mean, if we go back to that game #2, got about a game and a half where they hadn't outscored, been down 7-0 for that moment. Now Patty able to follow up on this one, and again, just ineffective for the most part. Yet again, has Baltimore been. They found all of their success. Seems like they got it all out of their system in game #1, able to bring things back even there to game 3. But again, when you go into a game 3, you have that overtime. So much pressure put on you in that moment. You got to win a couple. Again, for a team with the skill of the Phoenix, it just provides them an opportunity to feel, like I say, even looser, even more in that free play mode. Spikes back down, does that one as Gyro. The stall, and right now, indeed, the clock, the ally of the Phoenix. Meanwhile, the arch nemesis for Baltimore as Gyro sends this one sky high. 2 in tank, but Pigby looking for a big part, and Fade looking to follow. A rather confident Pigby make that happen as well. As now Jonathan looking to set up the center away there for Pigby. Nobody opting to get the shot on, as now Jonathan, no, sends sky high. Gyro denying it again. The defense that we saw from Baltimore, I say it's transferred. It's more like the Phoenix said, oh, that's cute. That's amazing. You like to stop shots, huh? That's right. All right, we can do that. Enjoy a little bit of that denial. We enjoy a little bit of that heartbreak ourselves. But that one, spike back down, and Gyro will deny again. Save and savior. As Jonathan, that one not going to be on. Pick just a constant frustration. Adamant defense. The Phoenix going to be able to take this one, and they absolutely will make Baltimore remember the name, despite the fact that it is a preseason contest. Again, Pig Beast, save and savior with emphasis, and Gyro the nudge over to the corner, and indeed the Phoenix going to be able to grab this first match of our evening. And again, game #1, I felt Baltimore, just all the offense in the whole wide world, but that was it, and appropriately so. Not unlike the Ravens, able to get a little bit, but then it has been a struggle for them, at least prior to Mar Jackson anyway. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the Phoenix grabbing a 4-1 dub here in match 1 of the night, but we are not done by any stretch of the imagination. And as far as whether or not you're done winning some monkey bucks, well, for those of you who said that the Phoenix would grab the dub, congratulations, you actually win some monkey bucks. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back here a little bit later on. I hope you enjoyed the contest that we had. CSA action will be back here at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, and you will see the Phoenix back in action against the New York City Vanguard. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by the very first CSA matchup here on the channel, the very first Philadelphia Phoenix matchup here on the channel, but far from the last one later on this evening. But I do want to say GG's to the fine folks out there from Baltimore. A fine effort, but an effort nonetheless. Phoenix grabbing a 3-1 dub this evening. So familiar with the 5. It's preseason. We're all making our mistakes in the here and the now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do need to raid out for the time being, and I believe, Captain live. Indeed, he is. So we'll go ahead and stop on in to say hello to the captain, to Gyro, the #1 overall pick, and we will be back a little bit later on. Hope to see you as well, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to see you again, but it's going to be a great day. Thank you again to all the fine folks out there from CSA in chat. In the meantime, I don't want them to see it, but it's going to be a great day. Take care. Stay safe. This has been CSA Action.